हाय एवरीवन, वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड। बहुत सारे लोग मुझे पूछते हैं कि सर ये डिसीजन मेकिंग सेक्शन क्या है और जैट के अंदर डीएम क्यों पूछा जाता है। टुडे आई एम वेरी हम्बल टू हैव राजीव शर्मा सर ऑन बोर्ड। हाय राजीव सर, वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड।
Hi, Rahul. How are you?
I am doing absolutely fine. Sir was the paper setter at the time when I gave my CAT and ZAT in 2008, 2009, 2010. Sir, really privileged to talk to you, sir. पहले तो मुझे बताइए सर, इतना मुश्किल पेपर क्यों सेट किया था सर आपने?
Rahul, it was our intention was never to set a hard paper.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Our intention always is to select the best of the lot that is there.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I think earlier we were slightly, and it's not very difficult. We were slightly difficult in quant.
Yeah.
That is where students used to face a little bit of problem. But other sections, I mean, if you look at the historical data, you will see that in other sections, students were doing okay. They were doing well.
आई बेग टू डिफर सर। अपना वर्बल का पेपर उठा लो सर आप, 2007, 8, 9 का। मैं बच्चों को चैलेंज करता हूँ, ये मुझे बोलते हैं सर जैट अभी मुश्किल है। मैंने बोला बेटा जाओ जरा राजीव शर्मा सर का पेपर चेक करो। सर वर्बल यूज टू बी लाइक क्रेजी। सर 2017 तक आप जिंगोइज्म और कैपिटलिज्म वाला आरसी दे रहे थे, और सॉरी एसए दे रहे थे, एंड यू टेलिंग मी इट इज ओनली क्वांट स्टफ।
Again, I beg to differ over here. The reason being, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult is for those people who are not reading up a lot.
Yeah.
Those people can say it's difficult.
Right.
The reason being, that has been intention. Now a little bit has changed over the years. Our intention was to get into a territory where student is least prepared.
Right.
And then ask certain questions from there, because there we are checking the real, how good a manager that person is,
Right.
being able to understand the gist of the say RC and being able to answer the questions very well.
Great.
So our intention is not to give a difficult English passage. Our intention is to judge a person whether the person can read, comprehend, and then answer.
Super.
So over here, students who are well prepared. Preparation here means being able to understand the passages, the reading that they are doing.
Great.
They will be able to do very well. Our structure of the grammar would not be very difficult. That passage will not be very difficult to interpret in terms of English, but probably the making meaning out of it might be challenging. Right?
Great. And we'll come to the discussion. By the way, small introduction for Sir Rajeev Sharma sir. He's an engineer, then PhD. I am Bangalore. He did his MBA, PhD in I am Bangalore, and then spent nearly 2 decades at XLRI Jamshedpur. And sir ने 10 साल पेपर सेट। सर आप मतलब यू आर द वन हु सेटिंग द पेपर, मतलब क्वेश्चन पेपर।
Rahul, you would be knowing this. I mean, it's not one person. It's always a team that goes in.
Wow.
But just the team is a kind of a cohesive, you can say it's one team. So everybody has one voice when it comes out of the team. So one voice that we tend to have. And so we look at each and every question.
तो मेरे को तो अलग ही हाई हो रहा है, बिकॉज यू नो जैट के अंदर, बाय द वे सर का मैंने पूरा बैकग्राउंड चेक करवाया है। दिस ही इज द 4th कन्वीनर आई हैव मेट फॉर जैट। आई हैव मेट द लेटेस्ट वन राहुल शुक्ला सर। आई हैव मेट बल्लभ सर who set for who the convener for 2 years, and Gurunathan sir, he is one of my favorites for 3 years. Gurunathan was the guy who gave the tough jingoism wala sir essay 2017-18, and sir with due respect to you as well, sir वो decision making section जो होता है, so you are the one who introduced the decision making section in that.
The history of this is our team was given the task of
वो
doing
छोड़ो
something.
sir, you being humble, were you in the same table sitting like when they were discussing like
Yes.
decision making होना चाहिए?
Yes.
First time ever?
Yes.
Oh my god, this is so crazy. Sir, I'm getting another high. Let's go, sir. Let's go to decision making. So it was a team effort, I agree. So out of those 10-year XLRI, पहले तो सर ये बताइए पेपर बनता कैसे है, और हमारे स्टूडेंट जो सुन रहे हैं इन लोगों को जाके क्रैक भी करना है, थोड़ा टिप्स बता दीजिएगा। एंड देन विल टॉक अबाउट डिसीजन मेकिंग, बिकॉज दिस इज द क्रक्स वेयर दे आर स्क्रूइंग अप आफ्टर द कैट इज डन। लाइक वही चीज़ पढ़नी होती है, बाकी तो मोर और लेस सिमिलर टू कैट है।
Yeah, paper setting is a process that takes around 6 to 8 months. Right. And this process starts with we have different people specializing in different area. So certain people specialize in quant, certain people specialize in verbal, certain people specialize in logic and decision making. So on, we have different sets of people who are specialists in the work that they're doing. So in various years, certain years, we also had multiple teams of people doing it. So this is not one team, multiple teams that are doing. And then one particular team kind of looks at the kind of questions that should go on. Now, so we keep on getting questions from various individuals. and then we have a common pool, area where we discuss the question. So if it is coming from quant, we discuss the quant question, and everybody is supposed to solve it. So the quant question, we are solving the quant question. So we are decision-making question, we are solving the decision. So verbal, we are solving it. So every question gets solved, right? So that is the process in which it goes on. Now, the problem that happens, and this is there with every question too, is the interpretation a student will have. So we have to kind of get into the shoes of the student, try to figure out how the student will interpret this question. And so, like the quant questions, right? So we face maximum problems in trying to make them easier, right? the reason being, the quant people have a way of giving their questions, right? And we kind of try to think of how a student will think about this. Right? Student gets this question, how will this student try to interpret? Now, certain times we are great in doing that. Right? Certain times we are able to remove the wriggles out of the question. The student will not be able to understand it. Let's make it slightly better. Certain times we miss out because of our own training. Probably we are quick in doing it. So we do that and we go ahead and we kind of miss it out. That this might be difficult for student to understand. So like this, we not only go through quant, we also go through verbal. We again read the questions, understand how the students are going to interpret and everything. Our challenge as an admissions team, as paper setting team, is always to understand the kind of question that we are raising, what it is actually testing in the student. Right? Is it testing something which is required by us, or it's just a kind of a mind exercise where they will be able to do something there? Our intention is never to make a question paper mind exercise. Right. Our intention is always to have question which is telling us that this person knows something well, right? And this person and we are convinced because of the question, we are convinced that this person, since this person solved this question, so this person knows it.
Right.
So we want to get that kind of a conviction.
Sir, XAT के भाव तो हैं वैसे sir. I have met many directors of business schools who are taking XAT. Though my company's name is CATKing, so I met Ballab sir, convener of last convener. He was like, तुम्हारी company का नाम हम XATking करवाएंगे. And sir, the directors of best of the B schools, they always consider XAT students better than the CAT students as well. So foundation आपने ही रखी है, and which is really amazing.
Thanks for these wishes and messages that you have conveyed. We have attempted, Rahul, and it's always true that we may make a mistake here and there. Possible, right? Yeah. Because the reason why mistakes happen is because of our team not being able to figure out how the student will interpret. And English is such a thing; it's not our first language, right? None of the Indians have English as a first language, and so here we get challenged. Particularly in quant, we get challenged in trying to make it easier in terms of English for students to understand. Otherwise, decision making in verbal, we are fairly kind of sure of the English that we are giving, that it will not have multiple interpretations.
Sir, how is your control of, like, I'm sure, with due respect, you're a professor. I'm just trying to relate because you were my paper setter. Sir, how is your control of verbal ability? Are you a well-read person? Do you read a lot of books? Of course, you're a professor. I'm just...
No, I've read from way back. I started reading when I was in school. So things that never were read by other people. Charles Dickens and Thomas Hardy and D.H. Lawrence, and so those are the kind of people that we have read, and even now the kind of Kafka and stuff like that. So we kind of have been reading, but don't quiz me on new authors.
पेपर तो मुश्किल आएगा ही ना सर. ऑफ कोर्स ओह लवली. तो इसीलिए सर मैं ना कभी कभी सेशन करता हूँ हाउ द कन्वीनर इज गोना लुक लाइक. इस बार कैट के कन्वीनर इज अ साइंटिस्ट, तो मैं इनको बोलता हूँ कि देख पेपर साइंटिस्ट है, उसका दिमाग थोड़ा सोचो या सर कोई डेटा एनालिस्ट का प्रोफेसर है, ऑपरेशंस का प्रोफेसर, उसके खून में डेटा है सर, राइट? तो फ़र्क होता है. ओबी का प्रोफेसर थोड़ा वैसे सोचेगा. So I try to hack them up. This is just for my knowledge. Sir,
but what you're saying is right. What you're saying is right. If you know the team, you know the kind of questions that.
बिल्कुल. मैं इनके सेशंस करता हूँ. कन्वीनर इस बार ये थे, पिछली बार I'm Bangalore थे, तो कैसे सोचेंगे?
But I must give a disclaimer that I have not been setting people from last 10 years, so nobody will get anything out of it.
Only maybe I can only feel nostalgic about it. Yeah, great. But sir, you have been a backbone right now as well. मुझे खबर आई है आपको पता चलता रहता है.
I kind of wherever they face certain issues, they come back to me.
बिल्कुल. वो सर डिस्क्लेमर दे रहे थे, मैं मत सुनना वो डिस्क्लेमर, बाकी सुन लेना सर ये.
So if they face a big issue, then they come back to me.
Oh, great, sir. Great, great. So you're the backbone of that. Sir, let's talk about our decision making section. Sir, ये पहले तो आपने बनाया क्यों? ये so called invent क्यों किया? कैट हुआ होता है बच्चों का अच्छा हुआ होता है बुरा होता है उसके बाद एक और नई मुसीबत लगती है इनको डिसीजन आई एम अ डिसीजन मेकिंग टीचर बाय द वे सो
But
सो राहुल शुक्ला वर्सेस मी था इस बार के तुम पढ़ाओ पेपर बनाओ और मैं सॉल्व करवाऊंगा बच्चों को पढ़ा पढ़ा के सो सर हाउ इज द डीएम सेक्शन हाउ वाज इट ब्रॉट इन एंड what are the challenges when you brought in and then how did the student take in the first year 2004 से 5 से आपने पेपर सेट करना शुरू किया ना सर
yeah, we started in, I mean, the paper started, the way it's getting set now,
Yeah.
2006-7.
6-7
I joined this in 2000, no, sorry, 2004. 2004.
4 सर मैं वही बोलूँ मैं रिसर्च करके आया हूँ आपके बारे में
Yeah, 2004.
हाँ.
So the year I joined was the year I started working in this
yeah.
paper. The same year it started in this manner. So decision making actually, we should thank our former director, Father Kashmir Raz was there. Now Father Kashmir Raz wanted to bring in a different way of testing students. So he gave our team a generic thing, right? You know, we should be able to test the students slightly differently because we want managers, we want leaders to be created. So this was kind of a mandate that was given to us. You create something where we are able to test the managerial skills of our candidates who are coming in. So they're good in quant, they're good in verbal, which is fine. And they can talk, they can crack the numbers. It's good. But actually, will they be able to do well as a manager? Managers needs a lot of things that they have to do, right? So he gave us a kind of a blank canvas. You go ahead and create a section which will go about doing these kind of stuff. So that's the genesis. We shouldn't take all the credit on our shoulders that we did it and we did all of that stuff. So the genesis was that somebody said that we want things to be done differently from the way probably IIMS CAT has been doing. Right? CAT is of course good paper, good examination, and they have been doing good work. But we want it to be different. Excel is something as an institute we have always been trying to be different. So we thought of creating this section. This section, if you have studied the old papers, right, you would have seen that this section started with logic games. And, we started this with a lot of logical games. And slowly, the first year probably we came out with predominantly logic games, right? If A does this, B does this, then what will C do? And those kind of games were being plotted. If Abraham does this, Ram does this, what will... So giving different scenarios, we kind of used to create questions and give those questions to the students. But this was still not very managerial, right? So one more person in our team came in, 1 year, 2 years down the line. Professor Suminder Bhatt, I should take his name because he was one of the key contributors at that particular point. Wow. So he came in and he said that, it can be also looked at from case studies. So then he's good in case studies discussion and, he's a person who we kind of appreciate for the thing that he brings on the table in terms of case studies that he does. But then the challenge was to translate that into questions which students will be able to understand and answer that within a specific point of time.
1 minute.
So there we used to have a lot of hassles. And in terms of hassles, what I mean is a lot of back and forth discussions that take place. And question preparation, I must tell you, is high BP kind of an activity. That pressure can go up and shoot up very fast. The reason being, somebody brings in a question and we will decimate that question, left, right, and center. This thing cannot be solved like this, and this cannot be done. And the person will defend it. This is something which I have thought about, and this has to be solved. So, in each and every question, we probably will spend, on an average, a day's time.
Oh, God. For setting up the XAT paper. Oh, God. For setting up the XAT paper, like one question, 1 day.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
If the question is something which is very challenging, we may go back and we say, we'll come back on this again.
Sleep over it.
There's too much of thoughts that are going in different directions. We're not able to think cohesively. Let's forget about it today.
Wow.
So, a lot of kind of iterations happen. So, the questions that one sees in the final form, probably the person who brought in the question never visualized it in that form. The person may have just thought about something else but the final shape of the question will be very different from
It's
what the
4
person
o'clock.
had thought.
Hmm.
Right. So we kind of changed the question that has come in. Slowly, what started happening is, I think it was Professor Munish Thakur's time when he became the convener.
Yeah.
Transparency and all those things were becoming very critical for us, right? In terms of we had to be showing the students the keys of the papers that we are bringing in. Now, key is something because, XLRI being a institute with excellence and integrity built in, and we were checking students with decision making of certain kind of inherent skills, right? Now we were supposed to make it public, right? We were supposed to tell the students what actually we are testing in view. So the challenge became of how to go about convincingly tell them, we are testing this particular answer, and not really reveal what we are actually trying to test, right? Inherent logic should not go out, but the logical sense should be there. So they are making a logical conclusion, and hence we should be able to judge the test correct. Right? So the transparency came in, and we started revealing the key. So the format of the questions changed because of that. We can't really be very prolific in terms of the case list that can be given. So we started kind of getting restrained because of that, because we have to play within certain boundaries. We can't go beyond boundaries. So earlier decision-making sections were kind of very prolific in terms of the dimensions that they could touch upon.
Got it.
Now we have progressively reduced the kind of dimensions they can touch upon. So because we want to be sure of, we want to be correct for everybody. Now, the agencies that are evaluating our paper, right? That are checking our paper, so they should also get the same sense as we are getting.
Got it, sir.
It has become more challenging in terms of framing these kind of questions, right? And certain times with challenge, it has also become easier, right? Over the years, this section has become easier because we have to, let students also come closer to the inherent logic that we are following.
Right.
So that's why, the thing that gets talked about that it is a difficult paper, I certain times kind of disagree with it. Rahul, you're right. At your point in time, the paper were difficult in terms of the level of difficulty as compared to today.
Right.
It was more difficult than today.
So did you get any villainous emails or something at that time, like when you were the convener, like क्या paper set किया है sir, धुएं निकाल दिए तो?
Thankfully, my term 2 years as convener, I might have had other papers where we had mistakes. Couple of mistakes do pass through certain times, but as a convener in my term, we didn't have any issues. Our paper was kind of error free.
And one of the highest number of people appearing also, right? So 1 lakh plus.
Yeah. That was around 1.25 lakhs.
Wow.
And we were just below CAT in terms of 50,000, we were below CAT.
Oh, wow. So everyone who's giving, imagine giving CAT is also giving XAT as well. Kya baat hai, sir. Kya baat. And that too for one college, na? That time, sir, we had other colleges? I think open the.
No, at the top of the slots, XAT takes XLRI takes the whole percentile. We had associate institutes. Associate institutes have been there with us for pretty long time.
Okay, wo sab the. But IIMs were always like less, not like 21 IIMs now.
Yeah.
There was
so effectively, you can say that 1,25,000 students that who were applying. They were applying for something like we had around not more than 360 seats.
Wow.
360. So CAT, say even if they take 3 lakh, the number of seats is around 10,000, right?
Total mila ke, yeah.
Total. So, which is very high. But our number of seats is also proportionately less.
Wow.
Right? So, level of difficulty there, we are...
आप मेरे बच्चों को सीट कैलकुलेशन करके डराने आए हैं कि उनको बोलने आए हैं कि भाई पढ़ लो?
Look, what I think is, as I told you earlier, we want them to be prepared for anything.
बिल्कुल.
That is the best lot of the managers. They should be ready for anything that comes before them. They shouldn't be scared.
Yeah.
The level of being... if you're scared, you'll not be able to perform. That much I can tell you, you can rest assured. Your best of the performance will not come.
True that.
So we don't want to be scared. And that is why we have been deliberately trying to make it easy.
Got it, sir.
And as I told you, because of our practice, we are not able to do that. We think this is easy as a committee, right? So we make an attempt always. We have been making this attempt from years.
Right.
Sir, make it easy.
And sir, in my own language, जब मैं कोई भी पेपर का एनालिसिस करता हूँ myself, when I say ना it's easy paper बोलते हैं ये क्या easy था. देखो यार, वो पहली बात तो उस पेपर को क्लियर करने के लिए you need to get 50% marks, ठीक है? तो now you have to understand that getting 50% marks is easy or not, ठीक है. बट पेपर जो है उसका लेवल इतना तो है कि 50% मार्क्स लेके आने हैं आपको. Sometimes if you're able to get 60% marks and you get a 99 percentiler, then the paper is easy. It's easy for everyone. But easy does not mean that you're solving 10 out of 10 questions, right? Neither you have to solve those, right? Sir, really proud to talk to you, sir. And मेरे खुद का पेपर का सेटर मेरे सामने बैठे हुए हैं. And hats off to your sir dedication past around nearly 2 decades at XLRI. And you've been a strong backbone of the school as well. And thank you so much for contribution to the management institution ka framework of what all the XLRI, along with the team, of course, and leading it from the front. And I'll come and see you soon in XLRI and have a lunch or dinner with you.
Nice talking to you, Rahul, and the students who are preparing for the exam.
Thank you so much. All the best, boys and girls. Do it on the like button. नीचे कमेंट करके बताइए नॉर्मलाइजेशन प्रोसेस क्या है, ZAT की तैयारी कैसी चल रही है, और मैं तुम्हारे कमेंट्स को रिप्लाई करूंगा. थैंक यू सो मच एंड डू इट ऑन द लाइक बटन. बाय बाय, टेक केयर. थैंक यू सर, बाय बाय.